got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey, happy Wednesday, guys.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. We're really excited for you to be with us today on Say That Channel. Happy Hump Day is right. If this is the first time that you are with us on Say That Channel, we just want to say welcome. We're happy to have you here. We are all about being unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up of entrepreneurship and small business ownership. So we've all heard those stories, right, of people who start from nothing and then have massive success, right? But what happens in the middle? What happens during the ugly come up? That is what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, all of those things. And today is like many of the other days where we get to listen into other content creators, other entrepreneurs, and hear what they have to say. But remember, we only have 25 minutes on the clock to talk about each of these topics. And I am really excited for today, as we're only, I believe it's like 14 days, no, maybe 16 days left until the new year. I think a lot of us are focusing on 2024, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's dive into today's question. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you guys know when we're putting out new content. What's going on, Yolanda? All right, so today's question, I definitely should have shopped this.
Is there a best way to sell for your business? A best way to sell.
I'm sure there's some marketers out there like, yes, there is.
Right? Yes, I'm sure the marketers are all out there. Yes, there is. There's a lot of survey data, and we've done a lot of research to prove it. I would say, I mean, I don't know. It's always good to sell like one-to-one, but that'll only get you so far in a rapid amount of time. We're always thinking about scaling, right? So like, do you then use social media to reach out to more people? Is that the best way to sell? Is it marketing? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe it's a bit of all of it. I don't know. Is that a good answer? What are you thinking?
No. I agree with you. And I think what you've highlighted in the way you answered it is it depends on where you are in your business. And that's going to help determine maybe what steps you should be taking. Maybe if you're brand new into the space that you're in, you may still be at that stage where you're learning. You're, to your point about getting data, you're trying to see what works. One of the things, like, you try to throw and see what sticks on the wall. I know what we were doing with with network marketing. We were constantly looking for. There were two different school of thoughts. I think there were people who were very much still in that mindset of, make the list, make sure you're going down the list, make sure you're trying to get somebody in person. But if you remember, Jay, when we really were in like the height of the pandemic, we had to make a huge shift in the way we were marketing because we couldn't do in-person events anymore.
That's right.
And so we had to switch our business or the way we were pushing content out or making sure we were getting connected with people, because we had to do virtual platforms like Zoom. I was actually just talking to Jeannie about this. Zoom was a big thing. We were hosting Zoom meetings, even though we were on Zoom well before 2020 and things like that. So I would say that depending on where you are in the life of your business, and your business is a life or has a life, it should help, or it should be a determining factor in how you are going about selling. And obviously the environment you're in. The pandemic wasn't something anybody set out to have, but it presented an opportunity for, I think, every industry to reinvent themselves. I know businesses that were only, sit down restaurants all of a sudden started delivering or creating ways that they didn't have to have people come into their restaurant again, because you no longer could allow that you couldn't allow that for that to happen anymore. So I definitely think there are a lot of factors that this whole idea of best, there are a couple of factors running around that are going to help kind of, shape what that looks like for you.
I'm interested to hear, we have several people on. I'm interested to hear what you guys think is the best way to sell. So please put that in the chat so that way, or in the comments, that way we can talk about that. I think between what you said about where you are in your, but first of all, it's just saying that the business has a life. We could do a whole show on that. Your business has a life, which means there are different stages of your business and like where you are in your business, right? It's like a
Hmm.
whole thing. But I really love how, one, where you are in your business. Are you in the very beginning or in the middle? Have you been doing this now for like over 10 years, that kind of a thing? Or is
Hmm.
it the environment with which you're in? You used to be able to do things in person, but now you can't, right? Like you're doing them virtually, and how to navigate going back and forth between the two, because that seems to be something that's constantly changing as well. And so how do you meet
Absolutely.
your people no matter where you are in the life of your business, no matter what medium you choose to market to your people?
Hmm.
I think one of the best things to keep in mind is like your ideal clients or customers, what are their pain points? What is the thing that is really
Hmm.
like, what are they struggling with that you have the solution for? And if you just
Yeah.
constantly focus on that, and it doesn't matter the medium that you use, like, but if that like is like your true north, if that makes sense, then I feel like no matter which medium you use, that will probably be the thing that ends up doing really well.
Catapulting you. No, no, no. That's actually a great point. And I think the word, and I know I see people in the comments.
Oh, this is great. We have the comments yet.
Yeah, I see. I completely agree with you because I think above, regardless of how you get your, the information out there, connect with people. I think if you can establish clearly to yourself what you look to bring to the marketplace, above anything else, you, again, there are other things that are factors, but if you can have your identity kind of locked down, you're gonna go far and above other people who are still searching
Mhm.
for
The
what it is. So
identity,
I know the thumbnail we threw up talked about brand power,
yeah.
and that's something. I think that's a term that started coming about. I know at one point we were being taught that we as individuals were a brand, and so in this age of social media, you got to be mindful of the things you put out there, the content you're putting out, because as a whole, when people take a snapshot of you, they're looking at these things. And if you're somebody trying to market a certain lifestyle but you're not living those things, or that could come back to bite you
Mm.
if people are out there looking at what it is that you do. And again, you could be the head of a company, your company has nothing to do with you as an individual, but we've all seen it in this new, or maybe it's not new, but cancel culture would have it. So if you are the face of an organization and you're not living up to society's ideals, at times that could affect your brand. So I like where you
Yeah,
went with
and
that
then
there.
ultimately, it doesn't matter how you sell or what you're selling, it's not gonna it's not gonna reach your audience. Well, let's see what people have
Not
to
as
say in
much.
the comments before we get to our expert commentary. Do you want to pull up?
I see Yolanda said definitely doing research, determining if your business is something that people want, the saturation of the market, and the marketability. I like that. Just a counterpoint, and just be, and you can argue with me in the comments if you guys want, but be mindful of saturation in the marketplace. And I only say that because there's a validity to that, and you can have a unique twist on a market that is saturated with content, with products already, and something about your product could make a difference and take over a marketplace.
True.
You know what I mean? So just understand. One of the analogies I always love is I remember we were told, if you go into the bread aisle, look how many different types of bread there are.
Mm.
So there are people who are still getting into the bread industry today, and I'm telling you that as a fact. They're
Yeah.
still coming out with new bread, and in a marketplace that I would personally sit there and think, oh, it's incredibly saturated. Why
Saturated,
would you do that?
right. Right.
Again, the other thing I'll talk to you about is how large is your industry. We were at one point exclusively in travel, and I think at the time, correct me, 7 trillion. What was the number?
Yeah,
8 trillion, I think,
7 to 8
towards another
trillion.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
industry.
I remember our goal and the philosophy we used to teach was the idea that even if you got a small fraction of that market
Yeah.
and that industry, you would still be doing significantly better than other industries that don't even crack $1 billion in sale or 100 million in sales.
Yeah.
But you could be, and I don't know the jewelry, I don't know the numbers for this, but let's say the jewelry industry is certainly not as big as travel, So if you're sitting there trying to go into jewelry, another industry that just does, it has a lot of competitors, it's not maybe as much over, you may not have a huge upside, whereas you can get into travel, a much larger industry with a bunch of other people, but because the pie is so big, we could all still get a share.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something. But thank you, Yolanda,
Yeah,
for that.
love that comment.
All right.
All right.
What do we
Well,
got to say there?
I'm excited because you guys remember last week we got to hear from like the man, the myth,
The
the legend
legend.
himself. You know him, you love him. We know him as Gary Vanderchuck, or Gary V, as we lovingly call him. And so many of you know him because of the advice that he gives to so many entrepreneurs today. And today, I mean currently, like he's constantly giving advice. And so he has built a business on Gary V Media, right? Or Gary Vanderchuck Media, in order to help people do exactly just that. So we thought this would be a great person to hear from when it comes to talking about the best way to sell. He's probably the guy who's got some really good insight.
Say that.
All right, so here we go.
If you're asking me what can an e-commerce business learn from VFriends and VCon, the answer is brand over everything. Brand is the ultimate way to sell.
There it is, brand.
I day trade attention and build businesses.
Vayner Media.
Legacy is greater than currency. I'm a purebred entrepreneur for real, for real, for real. We are wrapping up here in Brisbane. Very successful 3-city tour. Lots of good content, lots of great memories. Gary someone. Gary someone. We're at the place where in the middle of Brisbane, I can get Gary someone. Brand is being built. Once in a blue moon, out of nowhere, I'll give an insight to why I created a character. One of my favorite things about VFriends, I wanted to create characters that are ironic to belief systems today. That's why the black cat is the logo. The very, 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 very lucky black cat. That's like in complete contrast to black cats being unlucky. The reason I created self-aware hair, the process of living life to become more self-aware, to then be able to live comfortably within yourself and accept yourself, is funny because the hare loses to the tortoise. The hare's the fast one, the tortoise beats the hare. And that's why I created self-aware hair.
How it's been so far in Australia?
Very good.
Have you been to Melbourne?
I've been in Melbourne, Sydney, and now Brisbane all in the last 48 hours. So it's been a little crazy.
There's this idea that in portraiture, it's the photographer's job to set the subject at ease.
How do you tell the difference between like someone just having a bad day versus someone that's genuinely just not a good person?
Sustained truth.
What do you mean?
The first time somebody's genuinely not a good person to me, I default into it's just a bad day. When they sustain it for a long period of time, then I'm able to say this is really a flawed sitch. And I genuinely don't think anyone's bad. I think everyone's that's bad is in deep pain, and there's a way to fix it.
So then I guess first impressions is not really a thing for you?
Nope. Well, let me rephrase. First impressions are a thing for me. Jumping to conclusions and deciding who someone is off of a singular impression is one of the most intellectually, emotionally lazy activities a human can do, and it is now a global pandemic.
Well said.
Remember this? How old are you? Remember this. We're gonna go up ourselves?
Yeah.
All right, we got it.
Yeah.
We're just kids in the neighborhood. We're not scared. Hello. How are you, gang? Good to see you.
Do you think platforms like Rumble and Twitter, because they don't obviously censor anything, do you think they'll start growing and overtaking the others, or do you reckon
No, I don't think it'll overtake. I think you'll have options. And what gets censored changes over time too. My career, I could never be a big speaker in 2009 because I cursed too much and then I dressed too casual and I left a lot of money on the table. Are you gonna change or are you just gonna be patient, and that becomes the game. You could also do what you're doing content-wise. You could make content that is beeping out or slightly more edited in social, but then drive them to your environment and be as crazy as fucking you want to be. And as you should. So don't be philosophical or emotional about it. Double down on the truth. One of the biggest strengths I have is I leave my feelings at the door when I do business. Every minute that you two say, fuck, Meta or Instagram or TikTok is a second that you're not putting into creativity to drive people to go to your website.
Okay, we got it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much for your time, guys. Dustin.
Just leave them, stick it to them.
All right, Brisbane, for the last time on this tour, can you please get up on your feet and make some noise?
Thank you. How many people here are doing social media content for themselves or business or something of that nature? Raise your hands. Raise them high, I want to get a sense. If you are not doing Facebook Reels, you're missing a huge opportunity. So Facebook Reels is huge organic, similar to TikTok 4 years ago. I think LinkedIn is wildly underused. People think LinkedIn is B2B business. If you're selling Frisbees, you should be posting on LinkedIn. Those two are the underpriced attention. Then it becomes a game of best. One of my favorite other excuses, Ethan, is like people DMing me like, Gary, I need your help. I'm shadow banned. Then I click their account and look at their content. I'm like, got it. Go back to the DM. Hey, brother, you're not shadow banned. You just suck. Everybody here wants to blame the algorithm. Oh, I'm not getting as much reach on my Facebook, on my Instagram. They just want ads. They want the money. No, the reach was free. Like you post and people see it and they don't charge you. I'm just gonna say this nice and slow. Instagram's free. Do you know how insane that is? Go try to call the newspaper in this fucking town and ask them to put an ad in the paper for free. Go run a commercial on 7 for free. Go get a billboard on these nice little streets out there for free. It's fucking free. If it's free and everyone's there, then it becomes competitive. And instead of crying about the algorithm or all these other people, how about getting better at it? And better at it means knowing how to title your videos, what the thumbnail needs to look like, what the first 3 seconds should look like, the copy that you support it with, what time you post it, and what about putting in the hours of reading and testing and working to be good at it? You guys ready for questions? Hold on, that was such bullshit. Are you guys ready for questions?
So I experienced VCon, and at the start of VCon, you talked around that journey that you see where to go on from strangers to acquaintances to friends to family.
Yes.
And that was, for me, the epitome of VCon. I run a small agency working with Shopify. With all the wins that you've had through VFriends and all the collaborations, what do you think that e-commerce businesses can take from your learnings within building this community that are empowered to grow the brand themselves? VCon has moved beyond you, beyond just characters. What do you think e-commerce businesses can learn from that?
I mean, that brand is the ultimate way to sell. The reason most people that focus just on math and ads don't build the biggest things in the world is because the art and the communication and the emotion always outflanks the math. You need the math. Math is massively important. I'm obsessed with ads. But if you're asking me what can an e-commerce business learn from VFriends and VCon, the answer is brand over everything. And brand means storytelling and good intent and content with no expectation of a transaction in return on that day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good stuff. I like that format a lot. I could do it all day. I love that sweater.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Charlie.
Charlie, such a pleasure.
Hi.
I hope you enjoyed today.
I did. I'm 17. I don't know what I'm doing with life.
No,
Very...
no 17-year-old does. Not one. And the ones that think they do are going to change their mind along the way. You got time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So well.
Right?
Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you, team.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure. My dude.
I started my own brand and it's done really well. And I wanted to give you this.
I love it.
Put it on.
I would love to. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. So nice meeting you. So nice seeing all of you. I already miss all of you. I'm fucking tired. About to walk in, see some VFriends.
Gary!
Hello, hello. I'm blown away about the concept of strangers becoming acquaintances. Tonight, many strangers are going to become acquaintances. And then acquaintances become friends. And then friends become family. It's very real. The byproduct of this mission, the thought that it's going to lead to fruitful relationships means a lot to me. I'm going to walk out of here and feel very blessed. And so please, I encourage you to get to know each other. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. We are wrapping up here. Headed to the airport in Brisbane. Very successful 3-city tour. Lots of good content, lots of great memories. My friends, with my new friends, my acquaintances. It was a good fucking show. I'm pumped.
Man, this man never disappoints.
I mean, really.
Guys, please throw it in the comments. Let us know your biggest takeaway as we wrap this one up. This damn, really great.
Yeah. So, okay. So I just want to pick up where Jeannie left off. This part, brand means storytelling. I think for me, that's what I walked away with. Like, I was like, oh, dang, brand is storytelling, and storytelling without expecting any sort of transaction, just storytelling.
Yeah,
and
that little caveat was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. No, that's really good because, you know, I think that part is such an important little nuance too, because I think as business owners, we are thinking about finances. You are thinking about making not even just money. You're hoping to make a profit with whatever it is you're doing. And so you can get, and I remember this even when I was doing just personal training. I remember the difference between, and I know it was my mindset in terms of like being hungry and wanting to get clients. And then when I just relaxed and started just enjoying the journey of just training people and interacting with them in the relationship, I had way more business, but it didn't feel like it did when I was trying to get business. There was actually such a natural, and I think I've had that even in real estate. I've had a point where when I was, struggling, trying to make money, trying to get these sales. And then I just remember there was a part where it just really wasn't about that. I just enjoyed going to different apartments because it's like, oh, I want to know what this apartment's going to look like. And I think people could almost understand or pull on that energy, like, oh, you're excited about seeing this place too. And then I'd sell or rent or whatever the case was. So I love when he brought that. I love that little part he added in about just not looking necessarily for the sale.
Yeah.
Just bringing yourself to the table.
Bringing yourself. Oh man, that was so good. I even loved, as you know, the connector that I am, I even loved the end. And I was like, I didn't know that was a part of Be Friends where like, he's like helping people connect, which again, during this particular time that we are on this planet, I feel like that is a huge value add for so many people. Yeah. To create, just to
relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, even this is such a big point, guys. As a business owners, you are looking for relationships in every single industry. I've told this story before. Real quick, the guy was talking about being in the restaurant industry and what it meant to this whole red napkin thing. Go look this up. And it was putting a red napkin out for any guest who was brand new to the restaurant. And what this did was allow the staff to know that this person was brand new and they got lots of extra, just attention and love. But what they did was they built great relationships. It's funny he talked about the whole first impression thing, because I think as business owners, if you could, from the perspective of how customers come into your business for the first time, could set a very big precedent, because he's right. We do, I'm going to call it what it is, cancel culture. People walk in, you get a bad shot one time. The rice isn't good one time. And it's like, we can never go back here again. And that's such a weird thing, because we've all cooked a meal and it not been the great. We've all cooked our like favorite things and it's still not been the best every single time. All right. But we don't give that grace to others. So
yeah, I will quickly say that blew me away too when he was like, yeah, of course, like first impressions are a thing. Everyone has a first impression. It's a conclusion. I don't make conclusions. By making a conclusion, first conclusion, he's like, that's emotionally lazy. And I was like, woo! I just called out a bunch of people.
Guys, check out our Monday rundowns. We talk about this stuff there for sure. But that is a big one. That is definitely a big one.
Well, this has been amazing. If you have gotten a lot of value out of today's episode, please let us know. Even more so, share it. Share it with somebody else in your life who you feel like this will bring value to, because that helps the algorithm. Lets YouTube know that we are creating value and puts the information in front of more people. And that's all we're trying to do, create more value.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Please, again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell as well. Share this with someone like Janelle said so that we can get this content out there. And until we see you guys, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that. We'll see you guys